Sagittarius.
Hello Sagittarius, this is your forecast for February 2015. Now this month is going to be a little bit calmer as the planets are harmonious and we don't have all the big to-dos. There's a couple of things we're going to work through, and we're going to start off talking about Mercury still being retrograde here this month until that of February 12th. And Mercury is transiting your third house for communication. So you might just come to see that people out of your past might pop up back into your life, and for a reason and a purpose. And so you want to kind of follow what those themes may be about, because there could have been some missing links when you were rushing forward and busy here earlier on. So sometimes it just gives you that chance to kind of catch back up. And travel might be valid this month too, as it is third house for short distance travel. So not necessarily long distance here this month. The new moon and the full moon this month. The full moon is beautiful because it's holding a beautiful trine to Uranus. And Uranus brings about those unexpected changes where you could come to see some action in the area either of children. The fifth house is your children, or also within your creativity and your self-expression there. Now the full moon being in the ninth house, that's you looking for or striving for some insight, research, higher education, long distance travel as well. The full moon here this month is going to be on February 3rd. So watch what it's going to do for you. Now, having it down to Uranus in your fifth house, well, that could just be a very, very creative concept or idea. It's a great time to receive news, perhaps from a publisher or somebody who could forward you and the work that you do, since the ninth house rules publishing as well. The new moon is going to be in your third house. This is February 18th. So that is when we place our intentions for the coming month and also for the year and the overall. So your new moon intention this month would be about finding time to catch up with siblings, neighbors, your closer community, because you're going to see how that's going to be very active around you, and especially because Mercury retrograde has been lighting up this area here as well. It being in Aquarius, well, Aquarius always likes to think outside of the box. So listen to those ideas that you can download from above and see how they can be implemented in your day-to-day life, in your closer community. That's how that might work out for you. But as we're seeing, we got Jupiter also still retrograde to that of April 9th, and still transiting your ninth house for higher thoughts, education, foreign people, places, and so forth, and also your spirituality. And I see this whole entire year, you're going to be seeking truth, higher truth, spiritual truth, probably more so than what you have in the previous years. Jupiter takes 12 years around your chart once, so it is until late summer here in this area where I see your higher mind is seeking how everything actually ties in together. So Jupiter will be expanding this area. Great time for you to pick up on studies, classes, those things where you can enhance your inner being. So let's talk about the dates. February 1st, we have Venus and Neptune conjunct. Venus is love and romance, and Neptune is that higher octave of Venus. So it becomes even more so romantic. And so for those of you single, this might be a great time to meet upon somebody new. For those of you in a relationship, you'll probably just come to see that it's a little rosy here on this date. Now on the 2nd, we have some news coming your way, and this is the energy between the Sun and Uranus. So it here being in your third house for communication, the sun, where it's passing through, you could get news from somebody close by. So we're not looking out of country or anything, but somebody close by in your community might seek you for your insight, your services perhaps as well, and your creative services, may I add, since it is connecting to Uranus here in that 5th house of your creativity. Now on the 5th we have communication between Mercury and Saturn, and so Saturn's wanting to lock things in, secure things. So if you had an offer on the 2nd, things might conclude itself here on the 5th. Saturn always likes to beef things up, put the anchor down, and this is a good harmonious aspect. So you should come to see here that it's something that's going to behoove you personally, because Saturn is in your 1st house now, right? And you know it's going to be here for the next 2.5 years. So what you're feeling maybe from this news is these first few steps, because Saturn is still very new in this area for you, but you're going to start feeling how it's going to work for you. So pay attention to February 5th and exactly how that's going to come together for you. Now on the 6th, there is a decision here where you might feel a little drawn in both directions, okay? So you might vacillate a little bit. And normally when I see that, I always like to say, whenever in doubt, listen to your doubt, because that's your friend. Actually, doubt is just telling you that all necessary information may still not yet be at hand or present. So just give it a couple of days and you will see that whatever that decision was is going to come together there, I feel, on the 8th, when Venus, your values, is going to be really now tying into Pluto, which is going to set up a point of transformation. Now this transformation for you, you're going to see, has to do with your financial income and your home, where you live, how you live, or something that ties into family values and structures. The 6th tile here is allowing you to look at the deeper end of how you're wanting to structurally build your financial situation. Pluto's transforming this area here for those higher ambitions that you're holding, Sagittarius. And this Venus, maybe it's a little input, maybe it is a little support coming from family members or a member, since Venus is in your 4th house. Having that said, your home life this month, you might start looking at it differently, through different eyes. You might be thinking or contemplating how you could change up the way you live, either to implement new things. I feel art is a part of it just because Venus and Neptune is here, but alongside also with Mars, and Mars is really wanting to feel inspired, because these 3 planets are in the sign of Pisces. So whenever a planet moves through these different signs, no matter what sun sign you are, you get to feel a little taste of how it is to be these other zodiacal signs, because the energy that is being implemented is what you're going to be picking up and harboring for the time of that transit. Once that transit is out of there, you get to pick on a new zodiacal flavor. So Mars is here until the 19th. And so it's going to feel creative, driven, to want to build an idealistic situation at home, maybe a creative place for yourself, just because both Venus and Mars is here. But whatever ideas you have this month until the 19th, watch what's going to take place after the 19th, when Mars moves into your 5th house of creativity, self-expression, but also of love. And we can sometimes say true love. So, but you're going to fire up with Mars's energy to start on some perhaps creative project that you were contemplating here earlier in the month, maybe even there from the end of January. Whatever sparked or triggered you, well, I see some direct action now picking up, allowing you to initiate this new beginning. And we want to keep an eye on when Mars gets into touch with Uranus. That's not going to be before next month, but that's when you can have some unexpected good news or changes. So more about that in March. But then, yes, let's take a look at the 19th. We have two things taking place here, 19th and 20th. Like I said, Mars is going to move out of Pisces into Aries, so that's going to be more fiery. Venus is also going to be moving out of romantic Pisces and into Aries on the 20th. So both these planets now are going to turn more fiery from this romantic, idealistic sense of feeling where you're processing here in the heart chakra and the higher chakras, but now it's down to earth, to the nitty-gritty, and initiating some new beginnings. It's a powerful time there for you. Especially on the 22nd, because then Venus is going to catch up with Mars. They're exactly on the same degree in the sky. If you look, you might be able to see it if there is a beautiful clear sky where you live. And these two together, they meet up one day, once a year, and then depending on where in your chart they're showing up, this is where that creative divine spark, where love, harmony, and action comes together. And for you here, this year, it is going to be here in your 5th house for creativity. So the 5th house is also the business that you own. So if you're thinking of starting some new projects, great time to initiate. If you're ready already, say a little earlier in the month, I'd say hang on and mark this date for it, because it gives you that little time space to get out of that Mercury retrograde when it turns direct there on the 11th or 12th, depending on where you live. So you've put that behind you, given that little space, and then you have this initiation on the 22nd, which can carry the energy throughout, straight through next year. When they meet next year, it won't be in this area. That's the thing. So think about it though, your 5th house being in Aries, well, that is the entrepreneur. And this is why I'm thinking it might be some projects that you can make money upon as well. And so however it's going to work for you, it may also, of course, naturally, not to forget, can indicate a new relationship if you are single. So definitely mark that on your chart for it as well. Now here on the 23rd, I see that you are going to feel like you need to take a stance on a situation. It's more like you monitoring yourself, trying to get more of an observational insight on what you're doing. And it's good to take one little step back and look before you move ahead. However, though, you're not really going to find too many faults or flaws with what you're doing. It's just Saturn saying, pay attention and be aware as you evolve, just so we don't go too quickly ahead, which is very easy to do this month, because it's like, here's the wave, here's the surf, and here's you on the board, trusting that wave to take you in to exactly where it knows it's going, into the beach, right? So there isn't too many hiccups, there aren't too many I feel challenges this month as there has been. We have Venus and Saturn, which is now here beautifully trine on the 24th between your 1st house and now your 5th house. So what does that mean? Venus is the money that you have and make, the values that you hold, and it's also the romantic energy that you have. When it comes together with Saturn, Saturn's saying, hey, you're doing great. You know, if you're liking this, let's lock it in. So if you're having any talks, meetings, for example, at this point in time, straight through the 26th, you can really feel the vibe and have something validated and verified for you. Because remember, Mars is right there where Venus is. So Mars too is going to have a trine to Saturn. And I think this is so beautiful for you here, Sagittarius, because having Saturn to one sign can oftentimes be heavy, because it puts upon us new responsibility. to carry more weight, to own up to, and live up to higher expectations, not just those you hold to yourself, but where others may hold you up to certain expectations. So it having just moved into your sign and it's still fresh and new, I just love, love, love to see that you're starting it off softly, gently, so you could learn how to befriend Saturn. And you want it to remain your friend throughout the journey it's going to be. Because then you can see how it works when you live up to it. When we don't avoid it. And so many times we avoid Saturn. It's like, oh no, more work and responsibility. And then it becomes even worse. Then we get the tsunami of what we resist will persist. But see, here you have the surf, you have the wave, and when you can feel you're living up to and filling that higher potential that you hold and acting upon it, wow, things come together like this. Fantastic. So it's going to end here at the end of the month, on the 26th, the Sun conjuncting Neptune, which is your vision, your goal, your idealistic dream, should I say. And the Sun infusing that's you, the essence of you infusing with this vision. I'd like for you to write it down when you see it, just to look back at it a few weeks down the road, because sometimes we get great visions and then they get replaced with other new visions, and then we forget about it. But this is one of these that can actually crystallize and become even more down the road when you start taking that Saturnian action on it, giving it body and root. All right? So this is pretty much what we have here for you in February, Sagittarius. But as always, listen to your partner's chart, to figure out what's going on with him or her. And then also your moon and rising sign, just to fill it out even more. And yes, I still get a lot of questions. Why do I listen to my moon or rising? And should I listen to it? It's like, yes. Why? Because this is your solar chart, the sun. The moon gives you the emotional reading of the month. And your rising gives you the energy that you're going to be projecting out into the world and what you can expect that you're going to be putting out to the world. So that is important too. So it was good speaking with you again, Sagittarius. I'll see you next month. Bye now.